The assassination of Colonel Tuan Nizam Muthalath, 2005. A fallen hero of Sri Lanka's military intelligence. Colonel Tuan Nizam Muthalath, RWP, MI, stands among the most formidable and respected intelligence officers produced by the Sri Lanka Army. His assassination on May 31, 2005, during the ceasefire period, was not just the loss of a single officer, it was a devastating blow to the nation's intelligence backbone. Even today, his name echoes through the corridors of military history as a symbol of courage, precision, and unwavering duty. Born on July 12, 1966, in Kalubawila to a proud Malay family from Trincomalee, young Nizam grew up with discipline, humility, and a fierce sense of purpose. At D.S. Senanayake College, Colombo, he excelled both academically and athletically, setting the stage for a life defined by excellence. In 1986, he joined the Sri Lanka Army as a cadet officer. His training at the Sri Lanka Military Academy, and later at the Pakistan Military Academy, revealed a rare brilliance. He earned the Best Cadet Award and was honored with an invitation to dine with Pakistan's President, General Zia-ul-Haq. It was clear even then, this was no ordinary officer. His early combat experience included Operation Batamaraki in 1987, one of the most significant offensives against the LTTE. Over the next 2 decades, he rose steadily through the intelligence ranks, sharpening his skills through specialized training in Bangladesh, India, Hawaii, and the United States. But it was in military intelligence that Colonel Muthalath became legendary. He served as commander of the Intelligence Security Group in Jaffna and later as the head of the 1st Military Intelligence Corps. His intelligence contributions shaped major operations such as Balavagia and Jayasakurui. He famously warned Brigadier Janaka Pereira of an impending LTTE attack on Wali Oya, a warning that saved countless lives. Perhaps his most feared role was his leadership over covert units like the Long Range Reconnaissance Patrol, LRRP, known as the Demon Brigade. These deep penetration teams struck at the heart of LTTE leadership, operating silently inside rebel-held territory. Their missions disrupted LTTE planning, created internal panic, and shifted the psychological balance of the war. But in 2002, everything changed. The Millennium City incident, one of the most catastrophic intelligence breaches in Sri Lankan history, exposed the identities of several covert operatives, including Colonel Muthalath. Overnight, men who lived in the shadows were dragged into the light. Their safety, their networks, and their missions were compromised. For Colonel Muthalath, it was a death sentence written in advance. What was this Millennium City incident? The Atharujariya safe house raid on January 2, 2002 became one of Sri Lanka's most controversial security incidents. Acting under the Prevention of Terrorism Act, a police team led by SP Kulasiri Ujagampala stormed a Directorate of Military Intelligence safe house in the Millennium City housing scheme, arresting 5 Army LRRP operatives and a former LTTE cadre, and displaying a cache of weapons to the media. Coming just weeks after the 2001 parliamentary election, the raid was publicly framed as the uncovering of an alleged army plot to assassinate senior United National Party leaders, including Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, an accusation first circulated during the election campaign. Subsequent investigations, however, found these claims to be baseless, turning the incident into a politically charged episode with lasting repercussions for intelligence operations and civil-military trust. Between 2002 and 2005, he survived multiple assassination attempts, a gun attack in Babyania, a suicide bombing in Jaffna. Yet he refused to retreat. His commitment to duty never wavered. On May 31, 2005, while traveling through Palhangada, Colombo, LTTE operatives finally succeeded. During a ceasefire, a period meant for peace, one of Sri Lanka's most valuable intelligence officers was assassinated. The nation mourned. His comrades grieved. His family bore the weight of a loss that can never be measured. He was posthumously promoted to colonel, a recognition of a life lived with extraordinary courage. His family continues to honor his memory through acts of charity, including support for orphanages, a quiet continuation of the compassion he carried beneath his hardened exterior. Colonel Tuan Nizam Muthalath's legacy is not merely military. It is moral. It is national. It is human. He represents the unseen warriors, the men and women who operate in silence, who protect a nation without applause, who carry secrets to their graves. His story reminds us that peace is not free. It is paid for by lives like his. His life was a tapestry of resilience, discipline, and patriotism. His death remains a stark reminder of the cost of conflict, and the price paid by those who stand between a nation and its enemies. Timeline of Colonel Tuan Nizam Muthalath. The story of Colonel Tuan Nizam Muthalath begins on July 12, 1966, when he was born in Kalyabawila to a proud Malay family rooted in Trincomalee. From his earliest years, discipline and quiet determination shaped his character, qualities that would later define his military legacy. In 1986, at just 20 years old, he stepped into the Sri Lanka Army as a cadet officer. His training years were marked by excellence. At both the Sri Lanka Military Academy and the Pakistan Military Academy, he distinguished himself, ultimately earning the prestigious Best Cadet Award. His achievements even led to an invitation to dine with Pakistan's President, General Zia-ul-Haq, a rare honor for a young Sri Lankan officer. By 1987, he was already on the front lines, participating in Operation Batamaraki, one of the most significant offensives against the LTTE. Through the late 1980s and into the 1990s, he rose steadily through the intelligence ranks, taking on roles that demanded precision, secrecy, and immense personal risk. Throughout the 1990s, he became a central figure in Sri Lanka's intelligence operations. His work supported major military campaigns, and his insight saved lives, including his early warning to Brigadier Janaka Pereira about an impending LTTE attack on Wali Oya. Between 1999 and 2002, he led intelligence operations in Jaffna, strengthening the Army's ability to anticipate and counter LTTE movements. His leadership contributed directly to operations such as Balavagia and Jayasakurui, cementing his reputation as one of the most capable intelligence officers of his generation. But in January 2002, disaster struck. The Millennium City incident, a catastrophic intelligence breach, exposed the identities of covert operatives, including Colonel Muthaliff. Overnight, men who lived in the shadows were thrust into danger. For him, it marked the beginning of a perilous chapter. From 2002 to 2005, he survived multiple assassination attempts, a gun attack in Babyania, a suicide bombing in Jaffna. Yet he refused to step back. Instead, he continued to lead, eventually taking command of the 1st Military Intelligence Corps and the covert LRRP, Demon Brigade, whose deep penetration missions shook the LTTE's leadership structure. Then came May 31, 2005, the day that changed everything. During the ceasefire period, while traveling through Palhangada in Colombo, LTTE operatives assassinated him. It was a calculated strike against one of Sri Lanka's most valuable intelligence minds. In June 2005, the nation honored him with a posthumous promotion to colonel. His death was mourned deeply by his family, his comrades, and a country that understood the magnitude of the loss. From 2005 to the present, his legacy has lived on. His family continues to honor his memory through acts of charity, and within the Sri Lanka Army, his name remains synonymous with courage, intelligence, and sacrifice. He is remembered as a man who operated in silence, carried the weight of national security on his shoulders, and paid the ultimate price for peace. A fitting conclusion to his supreme sacrifice. Colonel Tuan Nizam Muthalath's story does not end with the gunfire that took his life. It endures in the quiet spaces where truth is protected, in the unseen labor of intelligence officers who still walk the path he carved, and in the hearts of a nation that owes more to men like him than it will ever fully understand. He lived without seeking recognition. He fought without expecting reward. And he died carrying secrets that safeguarded millions. His sacrifice was not just the loss of a brilliant officer, it was the silencing of a mind that had become one of Sri Lanka's most formidable shields. Yet even in death, he achieved something profound. He reminded a fractured nation that peace is never accidental. It is built on the courage of those who stand in the shadows, absorbing danger so others may live in the light. Colonel Muthaliff's legacy is not measured in medals or ranks, but in the lives he protected, the missions he shaped, and the generations of officers who still speak his name with reverence. His journey, from a young cadet with promise to a master of intelligence warfare, reflects a life lived with purpose, discipline, and unshakable loyalty. His supreme sacrifice stands as a solemn testament to the cost of national security. It calls upon us to remember not only how he died, but how he lived, with integrity, brilliance, and a devotion to duty that never faltered, even when the shadows closed in. For TBK's Truth Frame, in honoring him, we honor every unsung hero who served without applause, who risked everything without hesitation, and who believed that the safety of a nation was worth the price of their own tomorrow. Colonel Tuan Nizam Muthalath did not simply fall. He gave, fully, willingly, and without regret. And in that giving, he became immortal.